It's so selfish too, because it's like, no, you need to worry about this person of color or this woman losing their job because they just might not be able to get it somewhere else. Yet if they kept them in the company to where their company is losing money, the company's going to have to lay off hundreds, if not thousands, of employees that did nothing.
Subscribe to this channel in case you are watching this channel and have not subscribed.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. I hope you all had a fantastic 4th of July and a 4th of July weekend. I hope you spent good time with your friends and family. I had
wasn't even on the weekend.
4 days off. It was absolutely delightful, but I'm happy to be back in the studio because I had a unique experience this weekend. I saw the same screenshot about the same story shared by both people that I work with and that are on, the right side of the political aisle, my more right-wing friends, and by all of my old liberal friends. Like, I saw it on my old Facebook page. And this rarely happens. And if it does, it's about some very black and white political thing, like something that Biden or Trump did or didn't do. But these cultural and social issues usually stay very segmented just because of the echo chamber that so many people live in, but not this story. And we're talking.
It's unfortunate that she said that she didn't have her liberal friends anymore. Like she just made it seem like they're her old friends. And it's unfortunate that we live in a time like that to where you can't even have friends if they're on a different political spectrum. Like, who you have as a friend shouldn't depend on their beliefs and shit. Like, it should just depend on their character. But I get it. We live in a time nowadays where, especially the left, they're just so intolerant that they don't want to hear anything that anyone else has to say if it's opposing them. The right, they can be like that too. Me, I just think that's dumb, man. That's why I don't align with either. I think it's a system to set up to divide us and make us hate each other, which is another way that we're letting the elites take advantage of us, and we'll never be on the same page. Like, it's just a dumb situation, but it's unfortunate that that's how it is nowadays.
Talking about that today. Before we do, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already.
Hey, do the same for me, please,
so you never miss a comment section or off the clock episode. Alrighty, so DEI is dying. Finally, thank God, we've been waiting for the last 3 years. Now, last week, we talked about the Disney diversity executive who was exiting the company. She quit, maybe she was pushed out, we have no idea. She exited the company, and what that might mean for future Disney projects. But I had no idea that her exit was about to start a pattern, because in the last 2 weeks, DEI executives at 4 of the largest organizations in entertainment have either quit or been laid off. Like, what is going on?
Do you think that they're doing that for some political gain? Like, they're doing that to show, like, oh, this bill that was passed, I think it was a bill. This bill that was passed is a system that's going to set up to make all these hardworking minorities and people that are people of color and women, like, there's a system set up to make them lose their job and lose out on what they have, and now they're going to be unemployed and they're not going to have no work, and it's supposed to make people feel sad and feel empathy and get angry and start to fight back. I that's the only reason why I could see that happening, because I don't see, like, that just seems kind of weird, bro. Like, I get it. Maybe I get it. It's a merit-based system now, so you can't just hire someone because of their skin color and give them a step up, which I agree with it. I think that's stupid as shit, but I don't see why they would fire someone that's already in that job unless they were just trying to do it as an example.
Everything that happened in 2020, all the black squares, everything that everybody was, fighting for in Hollywood is suddenly just going away. Crazy. Here's a tweet I saw about it. Let's talk about how many of the diversity leaders have been laid off within the last 2 weeks. This is crazy. Netflix's first head of inclusion to step down after 5 years. They only made it to one person. They only lasted one employee. Here's another one. Film Academy's executive VP of Impact and Inclusion exits organization. So there was a meltdown online, especially because these are 4 black women that left or were fired. So obviously,
that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, it had to have been on purpose, dog. They, like, 4 black women. Like, there's no way they couldn't have had a black man in there or an Asian woman or man in there. Like they chose black women on purpose because it would hit home the most.
That is oppression. Somebody posted this on Instagram and said, this is beyond disturbing. I can't even process that our country is going backwards and that it's all out in the open like it ain't no thing. This is not a symbol of the country going backwards. This is a symbol of common sense, of people just moving on, of you not being the center of attention. And that's not really a bad thing. Somebody else said, this is so disturbing. Again, I think that's a bit dramatic. I think we can all move on.
Here in LA.
Somebody else said, can they all get together and form a kind of super diversity company? Or would that be inverse diverse? What the hell is a super diversity company? I cannot believe that somebody actually tweeted this. I think this is a man. I'm taking away your man card because you tweeted that. That is stupid and that is cucked.
Super diversity.
Somebody else said, that's because 2020 diversity hiring was a performance act. Correct. And then these companies quickly realized, especially as the economy got a little bit, these diversity employees really do not do anything but lecture employees, waste money, and in Hollywood, ruin entertainment. Because that's what's been happening for the last few years. And newsflash, you can have a diverse workplace with employees from all different backgrounds and walks of life without having a DEI czar. We were doing it before 2020, and we can keep doing it now without this, HR extracurricular is what I'm calling it. Like, it's just this arm of HR that is not necessary at all. Somebody else.
I mean, shit, look at Disney. How much money they lose? They lost billions of dollars. Netflix had lost millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. Like, they've lost so much money doing this shit just to show how virtuous they are. At some point, they have to, like, cut out. Like, and I'm not saying, like, you got to cut out all the black people. Like, bro, if you earned your job and you are actually qualified to do your work and you're not just hired because of your skin color, that is how it should be. Like, I don't see, like, that's just crazy to me that people are upset about that. It's like they had a cheat code and they got it taken away. So I can see why they kind of might be upset about it, but like, come on, man. Like, think logically. Think about how that's not fair. Think about how weak that makes your people look. That you need to have extra help. Like, nah. If you are really like that, if you are really capable and educated and then there should be no problem about being about getting help into a position that you aren't qualified in.
Said, let me be clear. If your plan is to restructure your diversity initiatives by removing Karen Horn, your plan is to make everything exponentially worse. Zaslav. And then this person was obviously quote tweeting the article about Warner Brothers laying off Karen Horn. Now, as a reminder, Zaslav is the CEO of Warner Brothers. And when he took on that role last July, this was reported. As David Zaslav prepared to take over Warner Brothers Discovery Inc., one of the largest media companies in the world, he told friends in Hollywood that he would hire the best people he could find. Gender and racial diversity, while a factor, would not be his top priority, he said, according to multiple people that he told. Absolutely based. But at the same time, it's stupid for me to say that this is based because it should not even be considered brave or based. This is how we always did things, and it should stay that way. It is literally common sense. Reward people and hire them based on merit.
Right.
That is actually anti-racist if you actually care about not being a racist.
Oh, God.
Real said, I guess all those black boxes after George Floyd was murdered were for nothing.
What would you call that? Because it'd be like, it's like anti-racist, right? It's not, okay, so it's not anti, it's the opposite version of racist. It's not to where you hate someone because of their skin color, but it's because you uplift someone because of their skin color. So what would you call that? Like, I'm surprised the left hasn't made a word for that, because that would be perfect right now, because that's exactly what they're doing. They are going out of their way to show that this race matters more than these other races, because this race went through more collectively in the past and presently to an extent. Regardless, if you go through more in the past or presently, you don't deserve a job unless you earned it. And it's crazy that people thought that you should hire people because of their skin color, because they just might not be educated enough. Like, that's racist as shit. It's like an empathetic racist.
Again, it's really dramatic, okay? Disney's DEI chief executive exited the company last week. No reasons given. Now this. Studios will likely wind down DEI operations or merge them into other departments. These initiatives are the most vulnerable in times of cost-cutting and shifting priorities. Yes, exactly. You know why? Because at the end of the day, Hollywood and all of these companies are businesses.
Right.
And DEI does not make money. It is an expense. And compared to expenses like accounting, I really don't think it's very important. And when companies are cutting costs, when they are in the middle of a recession, DEI is going to go, because it is not a priority,
Right.
because it doesn't make money. It's common sense. And yes,
It's so selfish too, because it's like, no, you need to worry about this person of color or this woman losing their job because they just might not be able to get it somewhere else. Yet, if they kept them in the company to where their company is losing money, the company's going to have to lay off hundreds, if not thousands, of employees that did nothing. They did their job perfectly, but because they want to pretend that they're woke and keep this person in the position they're in to where they're destroying the company, all these other people that did nothing had to lose their job. That's so selfish to me that they don't even think about that. Well, they're just so blind. They're just so blinded by the word racist and feeling like they are oppressing someone that they don't even try to think about the ins and outs of the situation, about why this might matter and how this might affect someone else.
yes, while it is an expense, and that is obviously a factor, the culture is also starting to change, and people are fed up with the artificial diversity and the corporate pandering because it's gross and it's cringe. And another,
like, bro, look at Bud Light. Bud Light lost Bud Light's been shutting down. I think they just shut down like 2 of their bottle plants or something like that. I'll put a screenshot up of it or something. But they just lost 2 of they lost 2 whole plants, which put thousands of people out of work, all because they wanted to put Dylan Mulvaney on a fucking can. And I get it, like it's kind of, you know, the right's fault. And I mean, I made jokes about it as well. I never boycotted it. I thought that it was kind of, I never drank Bud Light anyways. But the people that actually went out of their way to boycott it, I get how that they're kind of responsible for it as well. But they're just standing up for their beliefs. Like Bud Light should have had no political ties to it, other than the political ties that it already had attached to itself, which was the rednecks and frat boys that already supported it. Like they did it to themselves, trying to change their audience base. And since their audience base changed and the people that they wanted to pick up as their audience didn't want to support them, they now want to blame the people that they try to kick off of their audience. Like that's just so counterintuitive to me.
Positive thing, guys, it's not just Hollywood, even though this little screenshot was making the rounds over the weekend. Let's just take a look at the rest of corporate America since this past January. 3 years after companies doubled down on DEI, the pendulum swings back. Here's why. DEI is falling by the wayside in corporate America, report says. Corporate America is no longer pretending to care about diversity. And that really is the perfect headline, because they didn't actually care about any of this.
Yeah.
People were just outraged and posting things on social media, so they felt like they needed to do this. They did it, and they're hoping that people are going to ignore the fact that they are removing these parts of their company because they waste money. Thank goodness this is happening. It is corporate pandering, it is a waste of money, and it doesn't do anybody any good.
That's gonna be the end of that video. Please leave a like. If you guys got anything to say about the video, let me know down below. You know I'll read every single comment. And if you fuck with your boy, will you please give me a subscription? With that said, deuces.
Bitch, I been drinking, but don't tell my peers.